Hello, friends. You've stumbled across a short clip from the Daily Switch 2 podcast, which, believe it or not, is a podcast that is about the Switch 2 with new episodes released daily. What will they think of next?
Right, next up there was He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, a Dragon Pearl of Destruction. Now, as I say, I didn't watch the entire event live. If I did, this would be one of the ones that I overreacted to and whooped and screamed and yelled. Yes, please, He-Man, Master of the Universe, big part of my childhood. I'm exactly the right age for this to hit me in the nostalgic lands. It was He-Man, then it was Ghostbusters, then it was Ninja Turtles, and those are like the three big things. Or if you're a tiny bit younger than me, then the next thing after that, I guess, was Power Rangers. And then the next thing after that was probably Pokemon. So it's like, you know, the big thing. So that's, to those of you who don't know He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, that's how big it was. It was as big as Ghostbusters then became for a while, and then as big as the Turtles, as big as Power Rangers, as big as Pokemon. He-Man, huge. Again, I've not watched this trailer yet, but what I do know is it is a side-scrolling beat-em-up, and I love side-scrolling beat-em-ups. Again, spoiler alert, for my own development career, I have at least one side-scroll. I say at least because there's another one that I'm not, it's a bit up in the air, but I'm not really allowed to talk about it, but I'm excited about it. But I have one side-scrolling beat-em-up of my own in development, and I'm potentially, shall we say, working on another big one as well. My hope for this is that it is like proper retro style pixel art, modern gameplay, but with like super good quality pixel art graphics. That seems to be what a lot of modern scrolling beat 'em ups are going for. Like there was a recent Power Rangers one, there's Marvel Invasion, which is coming soon, there's a Toxic Crusaders one, there's the River City Girls series. There's so many of them. And they're all great, and I love them all. But sometimes people go for the more kind of, you know, the Streets of Rage 4 style. Streets of Rage 4 was an excellent game, don't get me wrong, but it went for a kind of modernized hand-drawn but kind of vector art style, and to me it's not my preference. It wasn't bad art by any standards, but for a game with this kind of gameplay style where you can't have completely smooth many frames of animation, because that then breaks the gameplay style. So you have to have kind of jerky or for example, you press punch, right? It needs to be maximum of 2 frames of animation for that punch to happen in order for the gameplay to feel snappy and to feel like the old arcade games. You can't, you know, go into 12 to 24 frames of perfectly smooth, beautifully drawn animation, right? You can't do that. So in order to have a game playing like the classical beat-em-ups and feeling good, you have to purposely have a low amount of animation frames in everything except the walk cycle. The walk cycle is the only thing that you can have smooth animation on. But therefore, if you're going for a super high-res HD or even 4K hand-drawn art that looks like you can have amazing hand-drawn cutscenes that look like an anime or look like a 90s cartoon. Amazing. Yeah, brilliant. And I hope they do that for this He-Man game, to look like the original 1980s cartoon. But for the gameplay, to me, it just works much better, and stylistically works much better when you have kind of period correct, or at least nearly period correct pixel art. But just with a widescreen aspect ratio, so you can see more ahead of you and more behind you. And yeah, I don't mind more modern gameplay elements coming in, but for a classic arcade style scrolling beat 'em up, for me the pixel art style works so much better as long as the pixel art is good. And I did see like the thumbnail for this was kind of like it had some pixel art in there, so yeah, I'm hoping that's what we're going to get. Is we're going to have maybe animated cutscenes or an animated intro that looks like the 1980s cartoon, maybe, or maybe a modernized version of it, and then the pixel art is really good. I want it to look like Shadows of Mystaria. I want it to look like Revenge of Death. Yeah. Wouldn't this game basically, if I was going to make a He-Man game, it would basically be Golden Axe. It would basically be Revenge of Death Adder. We're going to have dragons that breathe fire, and that's like the screen clearing move. We're going to have ride-on creatures. Like, obviously, they have to have a ride-on Battle Cat. I would be surprised if we don't see that in there. But also the He-Man toys, they were so iconic with the vehicles. So hopefully we'll have some ride-on vehicles as well. What else would I love to see? I'd love to see She-Ra in there as well. I mean, yeah, obviously we'll probably get Teela, but it would be fantastic if we had, the She-Ra universe in with the Masters of the Universe as well. As I mentioned in my breakdown of the Sonic Crossworlds, for some reason I just like female versions of male characters. So like I like Amy more than Sonic. I like Minnie more than Mickey. I like Ms. Pac-Man more than Pac-Man. I don't know why. To me, it's just neat when you have like let's take a popular male character and then make a female equivalent. So for me, She-Ra and the Princess of Power is really cool. I like that. So it'd be really great if we get her in the Master of the Universe game. But I understand if they don't. I understand why not. It opens them up for a sequel. And yeah, I'm glad this exists. So let's look at the trailer. But I am anticipating that I'm going to absolutely love this. I'm anticipating this is going to be game of show for me, if you don't count the Sonic and Pac-Man announcement. Let's watch the trailer. Oh God, right in the feels, right in the childhood. I had literally all of these. Oh my God. It's like an 80s, it's like an 80s commercial. Oh my God, look at that. Oh, yes, see, this is what I wanted. This is gorgeous. Oh, wow, yes. This is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. And that dragon with the screen clearing move. Jesus. Yes. Okay. Okay. Hold up. Okay. Firstly, I mean, they're really nostalgia pandering by starting off with trying to recreate the 1980s TV commercials for the toy range and using the real toys. That's a really cool idea. It's nostalgia pandering, but it's really cool. I think I had every single one of those toys, except my version of He-Man was the one where he had like a gimmick that if you hit him in the chest, it would make a dent on his chest and it would like spin around. You could hit him up to 3 times and make like 3 dents in his armor, and it like spun around and you could spin it back and then it fixed itself. That was really cool. But yeah, I had that Skeletor, I had the Castle Grayskull, I had all of those characters that were there. Also, the announcer, the person doing the voiceover, really sounded like the voice of the guy from the original TV show. Did they actually manage to get him, or is it just somebody doing like a really good impression of that kind of thing? I don't know. Again, like I don't know if they got the original voice of Bubsy back or if it's just somebody doing a Bubsy impression. But yeah, that voice announcer was again spot on, absolutely right. And those. I mean, I said I hope the pixel graphics were good. Oh my God. That is, perfect. Moi, chef's kiss. Everything about that was amazing. And you were right. I said, obviously you'll be riding animals and vehicles and things. I hope you get to, obviously you should ride on Battle Cat. And that's literally like the first thing that they show. And it looked amazing. It looked so good. All the characters looked great. They looked exactly like I'd want them to. They looked authentic to the original cartoon series, but in pixel art, as if you'd have had a super high spec, what would have been at the time the most powerful arcade board at the time, probably the CPS-1 or maybe even the CPS-2. So again, like I said, I wanted it to be like kind of Shadows of Mysteria. I think that's what it was called. And now I'm doubting myself. But you know what I mean. The Capcom made Dungeons and Dragons scrolling beat 'em ups. There was 2 of them. But also there's absolutely elements of the original Golden Axe, and also Golden Axe Revenge of Death Adder. And again, Revenge of Death Adder, it was a Sega System 32 game. It was pixel art, but it was about as good pixel art as you could ever get. Much better than would have been possible on the Mega Drive or the Super Nintendo or the TurboGrafx or anything like that. This was, at the time, if you went to the arcade, even though the games were still 2D, they were like the height of 2D graphics. And for me, 2D graphics have never really got better than what was happening at that time. And in my own kind of pixel art games, I'm not saying I hit it, but that's what I aim to. That's what I want, is I want to be able to have something that feels authentically like a game from the early to mid 90s, but also feels like if you'd have watched it, if you'd have seen that game at the time, you would have gone, whoa, these graphics are beautiful, these graphics are amazing, wow. Good God, it looked good. I'm gonna play the trailer again. I love seeing the toys, and I love the fact that they're clearly played with. Like it's not in mint condition. Like how the staff is a bit bent, because that's what happened in real life. They didn't stay perfect. Look at that. The use of color is fantastic. The backgrounds are perfect. 4 on screen at once. Looks so cool. So that's Tila, that's not She-Ra, but still, maybe we'll get her, or maybe we'll get her as DLC, a bit like with the Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, again, a game which I love, and I feel like they got it absolutely perfect. Everything about that game was pitched perfectly. But then they had DLC, which added more characters and more areas, more campaigns. So there's absolutely scope to do that. Or just a sequel for She-Ra. But yeah. I mean, so it's limited run. A lot of people have issues with limited run, but like I said in my Shantae episode, my 2-hour deep dive into the Shantae series that I plugged earlier, and I'm plugging it again now. I'm proud of that one. Go watch it. Please. Thank you. Yeah, like I said in there, okay, yeah, limited run have had some controversies in the past. Fair enough. And there are some games which people have ordered and still haven't been delivered yet because there's been delays and things. I know some people are still saying, oh, I'll never order from limited run again because I'm having issues. Okay. Yes, I completely empathize. But there have been so many games recently which literally would not be happening without funding from limited run, and limited run are funding some absolute bangers, some games that I'm just elated that they exist, and this is one of them. Thank you, limited run, for allowing this to exist. And with their games that they fund, by the way, I mean, yeah, even if there is issues with, you think that the physical versions are too expensive, or you don't trust that they're going to turn up on time, or you think that they're going to be late, or you think there's going to be issues like there was with the CDI game or whatever. Okay. But with the games that they fund, to be absolutely fair to them, they allow digital releases to be released at the same time. So even if there is a limited amount of the physical copies that end up being very expensive if you don't manage to pick them up right away, by the way, go and order the new Shantae game right now. You've only got like just over a week, maybe 2 weeks to order that. Otherwise, God help you on the secondhand market. Not sponsored by Limited Run. # not sponsored. It's just, Shantae games in the past have massively gone up in price. But they release digital versions of all the games for, with no limitations and for a very reasonable price. And I've no reason to think that this won't be exactly the same. I didn't see any mention of a Switch 2 version, but again, that's understandable because presumably this isn't going to be like a $70, $80 game. Presumably this will be like all the other games like this. It will be released around about the $30 to $40 mark, and you just can't do that right now. for a physical game on Switch 2. It's impossible. And I've talked about that at length. And it really makes me sad as a dev myself, because I want to put my games out on Switch 2, but I don't want to overcharge for them. And I'm looking for ways around it. I'm looking for ways to reduce the cost. I'm looking for ways to maybe have a Switch 2 version that's only available in like a special edition version, so I can charge more money but not feel guilty because it comes with extra stuff. I don't know. Or hopefully Nintendo will fix the problems. And it looks like they are at least thinking about ways to fix the problems. It looks like we might get a 32 gig cart. It looks like they might start allowing Switch 1 carts to have a Switch 2 logo. We'll see. But again, this is already a very long episode. I can't really rant about that too much. But yeah, this looks phenomenal. S tier, absolutely S tier, no question about it. It still didn't make me cry like the Sonic versus Pac-Man reveal did, but it really does hit me in the feels, and this is a bit of me. This is S tier, S tier, yes. This is like one of those things that you didn't know you wanted it until you see it, and then you're like, oh yes. Why haven't I had this already? Why doesn't this already exist? This is perfect. He-Man could not be a more perfect property for a retro style pixel art scrolling beat 'em up. This is yes. Why didn't we get one back in the day? And there was a Masters of the Universe game for the 8-bit micros and stuff. It might have been a Famicom game as well. I'm not sure, but this it's so obvious when you think about, you know, the subgenre of side scrolling beat 'em up games which are, you know, fantasy based, like Golden Axe, etc. They were so popular. There were so many of them, and why didn't somebody release a He-Man one? I guess it's because by the time they got popular, people had moved on from He-Man, and it was, you know, Ninja Turtles. But it's such a shame because, oh my God, it's just such a perfect idea. And this is why we've got a company like Limited Games who will fund somebody to go back and make an alternate version of the past. Yeah, if I'd have seen this as a child, this would have blown my mind. And no, frankly, it still does blow my mind. Well done to the devs. This looks amazing. Obviously, I'm going to be buying it. Obviously, I'm going to be reviewing it on this channel. Bloody hell. Yeah, great. I don't want to move on. What's the next game?
Well, that was funny /sad /informative /stupid, wasn't it? Feel free to mentally redact to make that make sense with the clip that you just heard. I don't know what it was. I'm just recording a bumper. But if you enjoyed the clip, please give it a like. If you'd like to hear more, click subscribe, and you can find all the ways to listen to and support the full daily podcast at linktree/dailyswitch2. That's linktr.ee/dailyswitch2. Let's go! Did I sound like I mean that? I do. I really do.